Well, good morning. We're back in Middle Earth, and last time we were here, we had just discovered a spooky sign called Eerie Acres. Clearly, Cleary Acres is carved on the sign, but is crossed out, and Eerie Acres is in its place. Okay, so somebody clearly defaced the sign and put Eerie Acres where Cleary Acres used to be. Oh, bingo, I found the clue we were looking for. You look as if you've seen a ghost. Another one, I mean. You haven't, have you? You told Bingo that Walorick Goldworthy cleared away several fences, stones, and wooden structures when he prepared the field of Wistmead for the Harvest Festival, removing the debris to a junk pile. You go on to describe the wooden sign you found among the trash. What's this? You say there was a sign for Cleary's Acres? Someone had crossed that out and painted the words Eerie Acres on top? But that means... It's just as I feared. The field may be called Wistmead now, but at some point in its history it must have been called Eerie Acres. We have wandered right into the waiting jaws of our curse. You have to tell Walrick he may be in danger. He has to cancel the celebrations here and at once. We have stepped into our doom, and it is grim indeed. Oh, Walrick, I have a strange request of you. Cancel the Harvest Festival? Absolutely not. Why should I do that? You tell Walrick Goldworthy that malevolent forces have declared that no one in the Shire will escape the curse of the Eerie Acres, and you have found proof that Wistmead was once known by that name. He snorts with disbelief. What nonsense! I know the sign of which you speak. It stood by the western path out of the clearing, and has not been thought of by anyone for a very long time. No one objected when we pulled it from the ground and tossed it aside, did they? This whole place has been uninhabited for dozens of years at least, and no hobbits have called the place Eerie Acre since then, take my word on it. I'm sorry you are bothered by all this talk of curse, but I'm sure it is nothing. Someone is playing a holiday prank on you, I wager. I will not shut down Wistmead, and I will not cancel the Harvest Festival. If that Bingo Boffin put you up to this, you could just go and tell him his plan to ruin my festival has failed. And that is all I will say about it. Well, I kind of figured he wasn't going to take kindly to that suggestion. After all, he worked very hard to make this, and it was his baby. He refused to cancel the festival, didn't he? Of course he did. That is just the sort of day I'm having. Why, I saw Posco just now, and I told him we should probably get ready to leave Westmead, and do you know what he did? He yelled at me and stamped his foot. He has always been one of my favorite cousins, but he raised his voice at me and put me right out of sorts. Something is not right. This is quite unlike Posco, and I think the curse may be to blame. What's going on here? Mark my words, there is more to this than we know. The curse of Eerie Acres is real, and it has affected some of the hobbits here already. There can be no mistaking it. Ooh. So, his cousin, is that Fosco or Posco, seems to be acting rather out of sorts. We have to get to the bottom of this business and find a way to combat the curse before it becomes too late. What we need is a clue, or better yet, more than one. Bingo snaps his fingers. Maybe we have one. You said that the writing on the sign you found had been crossed out with red paint, and someone had written Eerie Acres. What words did the mysterious vandal seek to replace? Cleary's Acres, you said. Well, that is one place to start. We need to find out anything we can about a hobbit named Cleary, and perhaps we will learn what happened to his homestead for it to be known as Eerie Acres. It may be a long shot, but there might be some record of Cleary's Acres at the town hall in Mickle Delphing. Consult with Mayor Whitfoot and you might learn something useful. I will stay here and keep an eye out for anything suspicious. Good luck to both of us. Alright. So Bingo wants me to go to Mickle Delphing and find out anything I can about a hobbit named Cleary. And yes, that path leads right back to the party tree. Very convenient, huh? I would suggest that maybe Eerie Acres, or Westmead as it is called now, is not that far away from Hobbiton. Although where exactly one would never know, because when the festival's not running, you can't get there anyway. Like, at all. There's no way to get to Westmead, which is too bad. It'd be a fun place to play in even when the festival wasn't running. Alright, we're going to Mickle Delphing, please and thank you. And hopefully I just spent 1 silver on that instead of 1 myth. Yes, okay. Alright, so we're going to be right back when we get to Mickle Delphing. We've arrived at Mickle Delphing, and we are going to talk to Mayor Whitfoot, because if anybody would know the history of the Shire, it would be the mayor, right? Hello, hello. How are you enjoying the Harvest Festival this year? Have you found the time to head over to Westmead for the new activities there? I understand Waloric Goldworthy has really outdone himself, and there are many fun games to play and delicious things to try. I was about to make my way there to sample some of the offerings for myself. But I will, of course, take time to help you with whatever you need, so long as you make it quick. A hobbit named Cleary? Is that used as a first name or a surname? Well, I can't say it makes a difference, because neither one rings a bell. I have no memory of either. When did you say this Cleary lived in the Shire? You didn't? If he is an old resident, it could be some belongings of his have ended up in the Matham house. You could ask Brombird if he's seen anything belonging to a Cleary. I've given more than enough thought to this matter, and it seems well settled to me. Sorry I could not be more help, but I need to get going if I'm to sample some of the food platters at Westmead. Good day to you. In this case, good day to you means get out of my face. And he doesn't know anything, but says we should go visit the Matham house. And the Matham house is up this way. See it up there? See all the little hobbit holes around it? All these proper little hobbit burrows. I mean, this one, you barely even see the entrance way. Actually, none of these you can see past the entrance hallway. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 respectable little hobbit holes in here. Alright. And this is Brombird Foxtail, and he is the Matham house keeper. Cleary, eh? I don't think I know of any hobbits by that name in the Shire, although it does sound familiar for some reason. It strikes me as being a name from many years ago, perhaps when I became a keeper of the Matham house as a young hobbit. But that was long ago, and if I then saw mention labeled with the name Cleary, they certainly have been long since distributed or buried beneath other more recent items. Cleary. No, I can't say I know of anyone with that name. Perhaps you could check with the postmaster. His occupation requires that he have a thorough knowledge of hobbit names and addresses, and if anyone knows of a Cleary in the Shire, he is just the hobbit who will do so. Postmaster Proudfoot can usually be found outside the quick post right near the town hall. Okay, so he can't really help us either, although he was a little more helpful than the mayor, and suggests we go visit the postmaster. And the postmaster is at the town center in front of the post office. Oh, and this here was put up when they closed and merged many of the servers. So if you walk along this path, you can hover over these and see the names of servers past. So this was Elendamere. This is Dworodelf. Too bad that that one closed, because that was a nice dwarven name. Eldar. And it does include closed and open servers in here, but it's mostly a memorial to remember the closed ones. Because this one is Crick Hollow. That one's still open. Brandywine, that's still open. Belliger, I believe that's closed. Arkenstone, I believe is still open. And Dween, I believe is closed. I'm not sure about that one. Winfola, I believe is closed. Villia, I believe is closed, but so on and so forth. It goes all the way around, and it was a way of respecting and remembering all these old servers that served the game faithfully over the years. And I fear that at some point in the future they are going to have to do more mergers, although how they're going to do that is beyond me. Still, I can foresee that coming. Hopefully not for another couple years. Are you the postmaster? You are. Hello, Mr. Proudfoot. Maybe you can help me. You are looking for a Cleary? Dare I hope that you seek word of one Halcyon Cleary? That is an unexpected joy. At last, I thought this day would never come, and I would go to my grave with the task unfulfilled, one more disappointer in a long line of shamed postmasters. But it is not to be. The mail shall at last be delivered. When I first came to work at delivering the mail, when I was just a young hobbit, old Ned Harfoot, the postmaster, showed me the ropes. It took me a few weeks to learn the ins and outs of the quick post, and I never forgot his lessons. One day he took me down to the basement and showed me a box of old envelopes. "These letters ain't ever been delivered, Hugo," he said to me, "but my old boss told me we weren't to throw them away. Could be one day we'll find out how to deliver them, and when that day comes, the quick post will truly have earned a fine reputation, even if it puts the lie to its name." Well, Ned paused on not long after that, and I took a vow to keep them undelivered letters safe until my own time was up, or the intended recipient came to claim them. It seems to me you might be the closest person we're likely to get to Halcyon Cleary. If you're willing to follow me, I will show you these stacks of undelivered letters, and you can decide what to do with them. Let me know. So, we have our first real clue. A bunch of undelivered letters. And after a quick break, we're going to go and to the post office with Postmaster Proudfoot and collect them. Okay, now that we have a nice cup of coffee, we are ready to go. Postmaster, lead us to these letters. Follow me. I can still hardly believe that someone has come in search of these letters after all this time. And because we're morbidly curious, we are going to go running and look around this place before we even start. Oh, look. It's a map of the Shire. There's Hobbiton. There's Mickle Delving where we're at. The homesteads are down here. This is to Lewin. This goes to For Delving, which is not open. This goes down to, can't see it, but it's also not open. That goes to Bree. That goes to Region. Very nice. Very nice map. Look at these. Aren't they adorable? Oh my god, I need this as a housing decoration. These are neat. And all the boxes. Oh look, this box has a heart on it. It's a little wooden box with, looks like wood burned carving and a heart in the middle. Okay, that's adorable. I wouldn't mind getting something like that for Valentine's Day. A little post-it board with a bunch of old messages on it. And another map. Oh, what's this map? This map is Rovanian. Can't really see any of it, but yep, that's the Rovanian map. Okay. And down here, got a bunch more boxes, cute little chests. And we have the funniest map of all, this backwards map of Anuminous. Because somebody apparently didn't notice that they mirrored this graphic. Well, I can guarantee I noticed. And this crossbody bag, which is probably for the postmaster to carry his letters in, but oh my god, that would make a great cosmetic, because look how nice that looks. Standing Stone Games, please. Can we have this as a cosmetic? Thank you. And down at the bottom, we have an old defunct task board. And a couple bookcases and shelves and, well, it's pretty much the basement. And a nice picture of Aragion. No, yes, that's Aragion. And I think I said Aragion for this picture of the Shire up here, which was incorrect. That would not be Aragion, that would be Evandom. And there's a map of Bree, and it looks like the town of Bree itself. Okay. Alright, we're done being a tourist inside the post office. Sorry, I had to go look at everything. We can talk now. Alright, I have emptied the box of old letters onto the table in the basement. You are welcome to look through them and see if there's anything important. Now remember, this is highly unusual. We at the Quick Post do not advocate looking through people's mail. But these letters are so old, there should be no harm in it. This way, this way. Well, move a little faster and I will follow you. By the way, those pants are weird. So is that top. Alright, the letters are there for you. I'll return in a few minutes. Okay, so we have a box of letters here. And let me get a sip of coffee because we have a little bit of reading to do. All right. So we start with the first letter. And Dear Mr. Cleary, I hope I'm not intruding, but I wish to write you this note of thanks. I had a delightful visit with you, and am already looking forward to ours of next week. As I promised, I will bring some fresh produce from my father's garden. You will not believe the crunch of our carrots. They are truly something. When I next visit, I will help you clean the weeds out of your own garden. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but I find gardening to be very rewarding. Very sincerely yours, Ivy Redsmith. Well, she sounds like a charming lass. And very helpful. Dear Mr. Cleary, thank you once again for another lovely visit. I hope you don't feel too badly about what your neighbors have been saying. They seem a poor lot, mean-spirited and unwelcoming. I pay no heed to their insults, and I will not either. Looking forward to our next visit. Ivy Redsmith. Well, the neighbors have been unkind to him. This isn't good. Dear Mr. Cleary, this winter has been very bad, hasn't it? I'm sorry to tell you the weather must keep me at home. I cannot visit this week. But I promise to bring some soap and towels with me when I next visit. I will scrub away the mean things your neighbors wrote on your fence in no time. Warm regards, even in the cold. Ivy Redsmith. Mean things, I guess she means the Eerie Acres on his sign. So, Dear Mr. Cleary, has it already been 2 months? I cannot believe it, but I know it is so. I have never seen snow like this. It began as a winter's lark, but now... I am sorry. I have not been able to visit. There's no sign of the weather's improvement, and my family's worries deepen every day. I promise I will see you as soon as this winter ends. Waiting to see the sun again. Ivy Redsmith. So, these letters were written during a very bad period in Hobbit history, and I believe it was called the Long Winter. But it was a very deadly winter. Dear Mr. Cleary, They say this terrible winter might soon be done, though they have said this before. I hope this time they are right, for it has taken its toll on my family and on my friends. Our food is nearly gone. They say it will be a time of famine unless something can be done. Do not think I am being forward, but I am worried for you, Halson. Your home was in no state to weather such a winter as we have had. I hope your neighbors at last showed you kindness. Could they have given you shelter, shared their food, and found warmth in their hearts for you? I hope they have. They would be cruel hobbits indeed if they have not. Are my letters being delivered? I have heard no words from you for more than a year, Halson. You could not possibly have stayed in your home this whole time. Could you? Worried, hungry, and afraid for you. Your dear friend, Ivy Redsmith. You fold up the last of the letters and return it to its envelope. So, how did it go? What did you find out from those letters? Did you learn anything of use? You briefly described some of what Ivy Redsmith wrote to Halson Cleary, and as your tale progresses, Hugo's eyebrows furrow as he strokes his chin, deep in thought. These letters are indeed very old. It seems to me that Ivy and Halson lived during the time of the long winter, which gripped the Shire more than 250 years ago. That winter was the longest ever recorded, and it was followed by the Days of Dearth, a period of famine and unhappiness the like of which has never been seen again. It is said that many hobbits died during that winter and the food shortage that followed. I hope that fate did not befall Ivy or Halson, but if there are no further letters, then it seems likely they came to sad ends. I wonder why these letters were never delivered. The hobbits of the Quick Post must have had their hands full just trying to survive the long winter, but still, I would have expected them to make an effort, at least before it became clear the winter was worse than usual. It does strike me as somewhat odd that the letters that predate the snows were not delivered. And we've completed the instance. Have we gotten to the bottom of the mystery? It seems to me that we have only uncovered more questions. Very true, Postmaster, very true. It is highly unusual for letters such as these to not have been delivered. We run a respectable post here, and I would have said we always have done, but those undelivered letters seem to cast some doubt on it, to my shame and that of my predecessors. Why would those letters not be delivered? At any rate, we do not keep records of home ownership at the Quick Post, but there is a small chance that someone might know the state of the Cleary farmhouse, even if knowledge of its one-time resident has been lost during the ensuing years. That was so long ago. I speak of Clem Underhill, the escrow broker here in Mickle Delving. He may know if the deed to the Cleary farmhouse ever changed hands, and if the land was sold, he might tell you the name of the current owner, if there is one. So, for once, they've actually roped in some NPCs that don't usually get any interaction unless you have to get something out of escrow because you lost a house. The Cleary farmhouse, you say? Oh, that goes back quite a long way. Almost 300 years, if I remember aright. The records from those days are rather incomplete, but there is a deed for a parcel of land in that name. It is a wooded lot, yes? I have had no cause to go out there, but the description makes it sound quite deep in the forest. Near Walworth Goldworthy's new cleared field of Westmead, isn't it? That is an interesting coincidence, since the field had only recently been put to use after being left alone for so long. There have been no transactions relating to that period, so I expect if it was owned by a Cleary once, then it must be owned by a Cleary still. A descendant, surely, although that is a long time for anyone to stay in one place without interacting with his neighbors. That is no way to live, not for any respectable hobbit. It must do you some harm, surely, to see only the faces of your family and no others. And if you live by yourself with no kin around you, why imagine it. And who would take care of you in your twilight days until finally your last day arrives and you meet it alone? Clem shivered suddenly. Mayhap it is just the time of year, but thinking about that sends chills down my spine and raises the hairs on my feet. It sounds like a spooky Harvest Festival story to me, and not something that could happen to real folk in the Shire. I cannot say as I like it. I hope I was a help to you, and now I would like to think no more of these troubling thoughts. So, I think we made Mr. Underhill quite uncomfortable thinking about the Cleary homestead, but it seems that in the 300 years, the Cleary homestead has never changed hands. So, what happened? Oh, Bingo shall be very interested to hear what we found out. So let's head back to Hobbiton. Lickety-split. We're going to get there as quick as a bunny. And talk to Bingo about what we just found out. And we'll be right back. And we're back at Westmead. Oh, Bingo, you are not going to believe what we found out. At last you have come back. Fosco yelled at me again, and this time he had the support of several of his brothers. This is so unlike them. What did you learn in Mickle Delving? Did you find out anything about Cleary's Acres or the curse? You explained to Bingo what you learned about House and Cleary and the parcel of land he once owned, not far from Westmead, and the hobbit nods. It all makes sense to me now. The spectral vision you saw in the Benbowl Wood must be related in some way to House and Cleary, and somehow he managed to put a curse on the Shire. None but one will laugh when all is done. That must refer to the ghost of House and Cleary, scorned and forgotten by his neighbors. In fact, that may very well be why the Boffin boys are so uncharacteristically angry. The ghostly haunt has affected them without their knowing, and the close proximity of Westmead to Cleary Farm has inflamed their tempers. Are you up for another adventure? I have the perfect hobbit in mind to go with you. If there's a spectre haunting the Cleary farmhouse, you need to be prepared to weather some frightening apparitions. Who better to take with you than my cousin Dinoday? He is not frightened of anything, and will be best suited to the adventure with you through the misty forest in the Eerie Acres, no matter what the haunt brings. He would disbelieve a ghost right to his face, and I think his clear head might be the secret to dispelling the curse. I will not hear another word about it. Find Dinoday by the fire here in Westmead, and I look forward to your successful return. All right, so he wants me to go talk to Dinoday and take him on a trip into some spooky places. Poor Dinoday, because his little secret, Dinodus, and I'm even saying his name wrong. Sorry, Dino. What's going on? Why do you have that look on your face? You explained Bingo's idea that a ghost is responsible for the haunting of Westmead, and that he wants you and Dinodus to travel through the woods to Cleary Farm to dispel the curse. Dinodus laughs, but then his smile drains away. You're serious? Oh, no. Is there no way to get out of this? I shared my secret to you in confidence. I do not fear nothing. I fear everything. But if I tell Cousin Bingo the truth, he will know my secret, and I will be revealed as a liar. But if I do not tell him, I will have to brave the spooky forest and risk the ghostly curse. This is terrible. There is nothing for it, I suppose. The path is foggy, so you should pick up this torch and use it to light the way. I will be right behind you, but I'm not happy about it. Not at all. Poor Dinodus. Come on, Dino. We can do this. Oh, hi, Marigold. You still trying to figure out how to get through the mist? I think we figured that one out quite nicely. But thank you. And we are in the Dauntwood. This was a bad idea, and I regret it already. Let's turn around and tell Bingo we didn't find anything. What do you say? I know, he's depending on us. But he doesn't have all the information, does he? He thinks I don't believe in ghosts, and not only that, he thinks that will be an advantage to us on this endeavor. But he's mistaken. Won't my belief in haunts and specters and ghostly apparitions serve as an even worse disadvantage? Oh, fine. We can keep going, but I am not happy about it. Not happy about it at all. All right. So, come on. Come on, Dinodus. We can do this. The faster we move, the sooner we get done. Did you hear that? Maybe it was my imagination. Is that a farmhouse? It does appear to be a farmhouse. It looks like no one has lived here for a long time. You'd better check it out. I'll wait here. Of course you will. The door is locked and barred and cannot be opened from this side. No one now rests upon this side porch, if anyone ever did. Looks like there might have been a door in here. There's part of a door. Don't know what happened to that. The forest encroaches upon the rear of the farmhouse. The door to the cellar appears to be unlocked. Oh, a cellar door? Brr. Well, the door to the cellar is locked, so I guess we better turn around and go back home. What's that? The door's unlocked? Oh dear, there could be anything lurking down there. Do we really have to go down there? Unfortunately, I do think we will have to go down there. Sorry, Dinodus. Alright, so, doesn't quite look like a basement, but it definitely does look like nobody's been here in a very long time. Yeah, look at these. They may have been pumpkins at one point, or turnips. Who knows? They're petrified now. Very creepy indeed. All right, we're going to start going. I'm gonna minimize this. I still want to read a thing or two, but we're gonna hide it a little bit so that we can see what's going on here. Oh, I do not like this. Oh no, what's this? Can it be? It's Green Eyes from the Scary Stories. It's the kitty Green Eyes in his boat. Ooh. He's gone, thank goodness, and now we should go too. Onward, I guess. Oh, now what? Do you hear that? Longo Proudfoot, trapped in his larder. What a terrible fate. Oh, dear me, we cannot think like this, but must push ahead anyway. I don't like this one bit. And we can see the other way, the way we just came from. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Oh no, what's this? These fish are not really here, are they? This reminds me of that scary story, the one with Odo Grub. It sends shivers down my spine. It's gone, just like the others. Let us keep going. Okay. Well, looks like we're going in a very strange looking passageway. I feel eyes upon us. Eyes right here. Well, go on then, Spirit. Let's see what terrible vision you have for us. Nothing, eh? Oh. And it looks like that's our scarecrow story. Yep, that's very scary. This house must have already run out of frights for us, huh? Yeah, no, you just missed one of the biggest frights ever. Okay, let's move on. Another door. There's our spooky well. And the old widow is probably still down there waiting for somebody to have tea with. Boy, that one's creepy, isn't it? And boy, that thing is lasting forever. Did we get a screenshot of that? Because that one lasted for ages. It's still there. And he's not even noticing it now. Okay, that one's kind of creepy. Oh, there it goes. Stairs? You can go ahead. I will catch my breath and meet you at the top. Okay. And we got our never sleeping guy making his furniture. There is something peculiar about these stairs. No, you don't say. Not even sure what this one is supposed to be, but it's gone. The door to Moria. That'd be a strange painting for a hobbit to have. That's true. That seems appropriate for a hobbit house. Random strange crystals running through the... That's weird. That's weird indeed. Alright, keep going. There is something most peculiar about these stairs. Uh, you don't say. Exactly how far up does this house go? And I'm pretty sure I only saw about 2 stories. Maybe 3 if I was being generous. Antlers. That is what. Oh, we're waiting for our friend Dinodak to show up. Finally, I have to say, I am not sure how all these stairs fit inside the farmhouse. It looked quite a bit smaller on the outside, didn't it? A pox on ghosts and specters. Why can't things be just as they appear? I suppose we have to keep going. Maybe the next trick will be that the spooky building is actually not as scary or as haunted as it appears. Here's hoping. Nobody's definitely been here in a long time, and, well, that's why we couldn't get... Oh, we're on the ground floor of the... Ooh. My torch went out. Yeah, so did mine. And I was trying to examine the front door. Hello? Are you awake, sir? Oh dear, I think this fellow is dead. Poor Halson. Is that Halson Clary? I do believe that is Halson Clary. Oh my! Who has disturbed my vigil? Are you the ghost of Halson Clary? Shunned by my neighbors. Left alone. Left to die. The time has come to levy my curse upon them. Reinforcements have arrived. A whole brood of boffins. Stop right there. I did some thinking, and I decided I could not let you and young Dinodas face the danger alone. So I set my misgivings aside and prepared to follow to you, and don't you know, but my other cousins had much the same idea. Something about the spirit story strikes me as quite suspicious. I think we should get to the bottom of it, and at once. I don't believe you are Halson Cleary at all. I have read a number of scary stories to celebrate the season, and this is simply not how otherworldly spirits behave. No, you are something else. You are well read for one of the hole dwellers. I think you will find us quite a surprising folk. I am the skulking Ire, and I can speak for he who no longer can. Halson Cleary died years ago, hated by his neighbors. They called him eerie and off-putting and strange. They mocked him. They insulted him. His rage and his hate drew me here. He died in this very chair, and no one wept for him. You are wrong, spirit. You said Halson Cleary had no friends? I have proof that says otherwise. Catch! Bingo tosses a satchel of envelopes to you, and you grab it from the air. And apparently immediately pass it out to everyone else. And we are going to drown out one ghostie with a whole bunch of voices. And these are, of course, they're reading all of Ivy Redsmith's letters. No, no, stop this nonsense at once. Enough. The long winter had been like none the Shire had ever seen. Hobbits died of hunger and cold even among their friends and their families. Ivy Redsmith wanted to help House and Cleary, but the winter prevented it. This changes nothing. House and Cleary was hated by his neighbors. They whispered cruel things about him, and they let him die. His rage drew me here. Yes, you said. I've been thinking about that. There are places in the world where evil spirits dwell. Marigold has told me quite a lot about some of them. You strike me as a barrows down sort of chap. So? I think you left the Barrow Downs and settled here at Cleary's Acres. But I think you came here before you say you did. What does it matter, Hole Dweller? It matters. It matters because I think it was your presence that caused Halsin's neighbors to dislike him. I say it was not. What did you say your name was? The Skulking Ire? You're more like a skulking liar. Ha 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 ha. Everybody's laughing at that one. Are you not afraid of me? I'm not. I'm not. You arrived, and Halsin's neighbors felt uneasy. They knew something was not quite right about Cleary's Acres, but they didn't know what it was. It was you. It was you the whole time. This does not change anything. Halsin Cleary died. He died alone, with only me for company. He did, knowing this won't bring him back. But if I could tell him that he was missed, I would. I would tell him that even when he felt most alone, there were still hobbits who cared. Stay back! Did Halsin think you were a friend? Did he suspect you were to blame for his solitude? Leave me be. No, I think you're the one who needs to leave. Hobbits won't fall for your tricks any longer. And take your curse with you. Bah! Yay! Hooray! The Skulking Ire's defeated. He won't be bothering us anymore, not if he knows what's good for him. Now that he is gone, I expect hobbits at Westmead will no longer feel the effect of his presence. It is not soon enough, if you ask me, but better late than not at all. I wish we could have done more to help Hal Cleary. His is a sad story, and while I am glad to have at last put an end to the villainy of the skulking Eyre, we are much too late to help poor departed Mr. Cleary. Better late than never, did I say? It is hard to be later than this, 200 years gone. But still, I hope he finds some rest in it. I should like to make arrangements to bury him. I shall inquire with the mayor, and perhaps the quick post can be made to foot the bill. Had they delivered Ivy Redsmith's letter, some measure of pain might have been avoided. No, I will not judge postmasters long gone. The skulking Eyre had a hand in their dereliction of their duties. I think Hal Cleary should like to be buried in his garden. We will set Ivy's letters with him, and may he find peace at last with the memory of her. Well, that's a very sad story. Did you see that? Skulking liar, I called him. Oh, if only Kellandine had been here to see my incredible bravery and courage. You'll tell her, won't you? It's funny, I was frightened when we came to the forest, and then again when we arrived at the spooky farmhouse hidden within. I was beside myself with terror when you told me the door to the cellar was unlocked, and each new vision we beheld as we made our way through the Cleary farmhouse increased my horror tenfold. But when it came right down to it, when we confronted the specter and so many of my brothers and sisters were beside me, well, things didn't seem quite as scary anymore. How very strange. Even so, I look around me now, and the spookiness begins to creep back, and I tell you, I am ready to go. Yes, let's leave while we have the opportunity. Brr, what's the holdup? And let's go. Well, this has been a haunted festival to remember, and no mistake. I am glad we have managed to dispel the curse, and sent the skulking Eyre packing. I wish Hal Cleary could know what we did for him, but of course that is impossible. Perhaps it is enough that we remember the one thing, easy enough as it is to forget. We should strive to be kind to our neighbors in every season. Hey, presto! It just occurred to me that some of the spookiest stories I can think of come from our failure to do that, this one included. The curse of the Eerie Acres has been dispelled, and now we can safely enjoy the Harvest Festival without fear, or perhaps with just the right amount of fear, if you know what I mean. Hobbit-sized spooks and scares are more to my liking, and to that of my cousins, I think. Thank you for the help. Now I believe I will turn my attention from investigating ancient curses to another matter, looking into these spider pies everyone is talking about. And we have solved the curse of the Eerie Acres. It's indeed a very sad story, isn't it? Poor Hobbit. Died alone, afraid, and never knowing that he had at least one friend in the world. Well, and I believe that does it for the festival today. So until next time, bye for now.